Have you ever thought you had everything under control, only to realize you didn't? That was me during an important meeting with a high-stakes client. Confident in my abilities, I led the discussion, eager to secure the deal. But as the conversation progressed, I stumbled. My words didn't resonate, and I could see hesitation in the client's eyes. I tried harder, but the harder I pushed, the less effective I became. That's when Emma, my colleague, stepped in. She exuded calmness, clarity, and confidence. Emma listened intently, observed the client's subtle cues, and responded with precision. Her approach wasn't about forcing her ideas, but understanding the client's needs and addressing them directly. Within minutes, the tone of the meeting shifted. By the end, the deal was signed, a success that seemed impossible moments earlier. Afterward, I asked her how she did it. Emma smiled and said, "It's not magic, it's practice. I've learned to stay calm, focus on what matters, and act wisely." She shared that Stoic philosophy had shaped her ability to navigate challenges, a discipline she credits for her success as a leader today. This moment changed how I view wisdom. In this video, I'll share 8 Stoic lessons to help you build resilience, clarity, and composure. These lessons are practical, timeless, and transformative. If you're ready to elevate your mindset, hit like, subscribe to Stoic Narratives Official, and let's begin the journey to wisdom together. 1. The power of inner stillness. Inner stillness is the foundation of wisdom. It is in stillness that we find clarity, and in clarity, we find the power to make decisions rooted in truth rather than emotion. The Stoics, especially Marcus Aurelius, understood that true wisdom begins not with external circumstances, but with mastering our inner world. He wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." This powerful reminder shows us that no matter how turbulent the world around us becomes, we always have the ability to retreat into the sanctuary of our own minds. Take the story of my old colleague, Emma, who once struggled greatly with the pressures of her first job. As a recent graduate, she was eager to prove herself and often found herself overwhelmed by the constant demands and rapid pace of her new workplace. The constant flood of tasks, deadlines, and expectations left her feeling mentally drained and unsure of herself. She would often lie awake at night, her mind racing with worries about her performance, worried that she wasn't meeting expectations. Her mind was far from still, chaotic, filled with anxiety. One day, Emma encountered the teachings of Stoic philosophy. She found herself drawn to the words of Epictetus. "It's not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them." This truth resonated deeply with her. Emma realized that her anxiety came not from the work itself, but from her reaction to it. At that moment, she made a choice to begin practicing inner stillness, to find peace within herself amidst the chaos of her surroundings. At first, the practice was challenging. Every time stress began to mount, Emma would take 5 minutes to breathe deeply and focus her mind. She reminded herself that she could not control everything, but she could control how she responded. Over time, this simple practice of pausing, breathing, and letting go of external pressures began to bring calm to her life. She became more centered, more present in the moment, and better able to handle the challenges of her job. Her productivity improved, her confidence grew, and her colleagues noticed the change in her demeanor. What had once seemed overwhelming now became manageable, simply because she took the time to center herself. This practice of inner stillness did not mean Emma avoided the difficulties of her work. Instead, it gave her the strength to face them calmly, with a clear mind and a balanced heart. She learned that while she couldn't control the demands placed on her, she could control how she approached them. It was in this space of stillness that her true power was found. Through this daily practice, Emma was able to rise above her initial struggles and transform her work experience into one of growth and fulfillment. The role of stillness in decision-making. The Stoics teach us that when we are overwhelmed, we are often reacting to external stimuli without truly considering our response. When we take a moment to pause and find stillness, we reconnect with our true selves and can make decisions from a place of wisdom, not from fear or impulse. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminds us that the only thing we truly control is our mind. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When Emma began to practice stillness, she started to notice how often her mind was clouded by distractions and fears. As her practice deepened, she found herself making decisions with greater ease. No longer paralyzed by uncertainty or overwhelmed by external pressures, Emma was able to focus on the task at hand with clarity and purpose. She was no longer running on autopilot, but was fully present in each moment, guided by a calm and rational mind. How to cultivate inner stillness. Step 1. Start with a few minutes of reflection. Begin each day by taking 5 minutes to reflect in silence. Close your eyes, focus on your breathing, and allow your thoughts to settle. This practice helps you clear away the clutter of the mind and set a calm tone for the day ahead. Emma made this a habit. Before tackling her busy day, she would sit in quiet contemplation, grounding herself in the present moment. Step 2. Pause when overwhelmed. Whenever you feel stress or anxiety rising, stop and take a deep breath. Even a momentary pause can bring clarity. Ask yourself, what is within my control right now? Letting go of the external pressure allows you to focus on what you can do without being swept away by the noise of the world. Step 3. Reflect on your thoughts and emotions. The Stoics believed in examining our thoughts and emotions regularly. At the end of each day, take a few moments to reflect on your reactions. Were you calm and rational, or did you react impulsively? Use this as a learning tool to improve your responses in the future. Emma used journaling as a way to process her thoughts and clear her mind before bed, helping her wake up with a refreshed perspective the next day. Step 4. Create sacred moments of silence. In a world that demands constant action and reaction, create intentional moments of silence in your day. Whether it's a walk in nature, a quiet break during work, or a few minutes of meditation, these moments allow you to reconnect with your inner self and regain your sense of peace. Emma's story is just one example of how cultivating inner stillness can transform your life. Through daily practice, we too can learn to find peace amidst the chaos, clarity amidst confusion, and strength in the face of adversity. The Stoics understood that the true source of power lies within us, not in the circumstances we face, but in how we respond to them. Just as Marcus Aurelius taught, we have the power to master our minds. When we take the time to pause, observe, and let go of unnecessary distractions, we can make decisions with wisdom, grounded in our highest values. So I encourage you today to begin practicing stillness, whether through a few minutes of quiet reflection, a mindful breath, or simply observing your thoughts without judgment. With time and consistency, you will find that the stillness within you will not only calm your mind, but empower you to navigate life with greater wisdom and grace. 2. Every challenge is a lesson in disguise. Life is filled with challenges, and the Stoics remind us that it is through these challenges that we grow stronger. Seneca once said, "Difficulties show a person's character." When we encounter obstacles, it's easy to see them as burdens, but the Stoics teach us to view them as opportunities to learn and improve. Every setback we face is not an end, but a chance to build resilience and wisdom. Let me share the story of my old colleague, Emma, who faced her own set of challenges when she first started working at a large company. In the beginning, Emma struggled. The expectations were high, and she often found herself feeling overwhelmed by the fast-paced environment. Projects piled up, tight deadlines seemed unmanageable, and at times she doubted her own abilities. However, instead of succumbing to frustration or defeat, Emma turned to the teachings of Stoicism for guidance. She remembered the words of Marcus Aurelius, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This simple yet profound idea shifted her perspective. Emma began to see each challenge not as an obstacle, but as a lesson, a stepping stone on her path to growth. She realized that every difficulty she faced could be an opportunity to refine her skills and expand her wisdom. Through this process, Emma began to embrace challenges rather than avoid them. She started to learn more from her mistakes and realized that growth was not linear. It was often the struggles that led to the most profound lessons. Over time, she became more confident in her ability to handle whatever came her way, and her professional life flourished as a result. The Stoic approach to challenges. The Stoics teach us that every challenge we face is an opportunity for growth. It is not the obstacle itself that defines us, but how we respond to it. Epictetus, another great Stoic philosopher, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Life will inevitably present us with difficulties, whether in our careers, relationships, or personal pursuits. The key is not to avoid them, but to approach them with a mindset of learning and growth. In Emma's case, she found that each challenge was a chance to refine her character. The more she practiced resilience, the more confident she became in her ability to navigate future challenges. She learned that it was through her struggles that she developed strength, patience, and insight. The Stoics understood that it is in hardship that we often find our truest selves. How to approach challenges in the Stoic way. Step 1. Shift your perspective on failure. The first step to embracing challenges is to change the way you view failure. In our culture, failure is often seen as something to avoid at all costs. But the Stoics remind us that failure is an essential part of growth. Instead of seeing failure as the end, view it as an opportunity to learn. When you encounter setbacks, ask yourself, what lesson can I take from this? This shift in mindset allows you to approach challenges with greater resilience. Step 2. Focus on what you can control. One of the key teachings of Stoicism is to focus on what is within your control and to release what is not. Emma, for example, realized she couldn't control the reactions of her coworkers, nor could she control every project's outcome. But she could control her attitude, her work ethic, and her approach to problem solving. By focusing on what she could change, she was able to handle difficult situations with greater ease and less frustration. Step 3. Embrace challenges as opportunities for improvement. The Stoics saw challenges as opportunities to strengthen virtues, such as patience, courage, and wisdom. Instead of viewing difficulties as obstacles, see them as chances to improve. Emma's initial struggles at work didn't define her. Instead, they shaped her into a more competent and resilient professional. She used each challenge as a chance to refine her skills and deepen her understanding of her work. Step 4. Maintain a steady mindset. In times of hardship, it is easy to become overwhelmed by emotions. But the Stoics teach us to maintain a steady mindset, even in the face of adversity. Take a step back, breathe, and remind yourself that challenges are part of life. By cultivating a calm and clear mind, you can make better decisions, even when the pressure is high. Emma learned to control her emotional reactions, allowing her to approach each situation with clarity and focus. Through adversity, we uncover our greatest strengths. Emma's story is a reminder that challenges are not to be feared but embraced. It is through these moments of struggle that we learn the most about ourselves. We develop resilience, patience, and wisdom, qualities that no one can take from us. As you navigate your own challenges, remember that each difficulty is an opportunity to grow. Reflect on how you've responded to past challenges. Did you face them with a growth mindset, or did you let them overwhelm you? Consider how you can reframe your current struggles as opportunities to build your character. Remember, like the Stoics, you have the power to choose how you respond to life's obstacles. Challenges will come, but how you approach them will shape who you become. With each challenge, you have the chance to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Embrace the lessons they bring, and you will find that obstacles no longer hold the power to defeat you. They become the foundation of your success. 3. Take action today. One of the most profound truths in Stoic philosophy is this: the present moment is all we truly have. The past is unchangeable, and the future remains uncertain. Marcus Aurelius in his Meditations said, "Confine yourself to the present." This simple yet powerful statement reminds us that wisdom lies not in waiting for perfection, but in acting with clarity and purpose today. Let me share the story of Sophia, an artist with immense talent, but an overwhelming fear of failure. For years, she hesitated to share her work with the world, believing her paintings weren't ready. She told herself, "I'll showcase my art when I improve, when the timing feels perfect." But days turned to months, and months into years. Her studio became a shrine to the potential that was never realized. One day, a friend gifted her a book of Stoic teachings. She came across the words of Epictetus, "How long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself?" These words struck her deeply. Sophia realized her hesitation wasn't about readiness, but fear of judgment and imperfection. She decided to act, submitting her first painting to a local gallery. To her surprise, it was accepted, and the overwhelming support she received emboldened her to keep creating. Today, her work inspires many, and her journey stands as a testament to the power of acting in the moment. The Stoic imperative to act. The Stoics teach us that waiting for the right moment often leads to inaction. There is no perfect time. There is only now. Procrastination, born from fear or overthinking, is a thief that robs us of opportunity and growth. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, reminds us in his letters, while we are postponing, life speeds by. Imagine a farmer who refuses to plant seeds because he fears the rain may come too soon or the sun may not shine enough. By the time conditions feel perfect, the season for planting is past. So it is with life. If we wait too long, the opportunities before us may vanish, leaving us to wonder what could have been. Taking action doesn't mean rushing blindly. Instead, it's about embracing the imperfect present and trusting that each step forward will lead to growth. The first draft of a novel, the first awkward attempt at public speaking, or the first nervous application to a dream job, these are the seeds of wisdom and achievement. Practical wisdom: how to act today. Step 1. Break down the first step. The path ahead may seem daunting, but even the longest journey begins with a single step. Instead of fixating on the enormity of the task, identify one small action you can take today. Perhaps it's writing the first paragraph, making the first phone call, or dedicating 15 minutes to practice. As Marcus Aurelius advises, do what nature demands. Get on with it if you have work to do. Step 2. Silence the inner critic. The voice in your mind that whispers, "You're not ready, you're not good enough," is not your ally. It is fear, disguised as caution, holding you back. The Stoics encourage us to challenge this voice with reason. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? Often you'll realize the risks are far smaller than your fear makes them seem. Step 3. Adopt the good enough mindset. Perfectionism is the enemy of progress. Recognize that your first attempt doesn't need to be flawless. It only needs to be done. Epictetus said, "Practice yourself, for heaven's sake, in little things, and then proceed to greater." By starting small and imperfectly, you create momentum and build confidence. Step 4. Reflect each evening. At the end of each day, take a moment to ask yourself, what did I do today to move forward? Journaling these reflections helps you stay accountable and reveals patterns of growth over time. This simple practice was a cornerstone of Stoic life and can be transformative when done consistently. The present is more than a fleeting point in time. It is a gift, a chance to act, to grow, to live. When you delay, you rob yourself of this gift. But when you embrace the now, you align yourself with life's natural flow. You become, as the Stoics envisioned, a person of action. And pause for a moment and reflect. What is one thing I've been postponing? Perhaps it's a conversation you've avoided, a skill you've wanted to learn, or a dream you've put off. Whatever it is, today is the day to begin. Start small, start imperfectly, but start. The wisdom of acting in the present is timeless, and its rewards are immeasurable. By taking that first step, you honor the gift of today and open the door to a wiser, fuller life. 4. Let go of what you cannot control. In our pursuit of wisdom, one of the greatest lessons we must embrace is this: release your grip on what lies beyond your control. The Stoics believe that true freedom and peace come not from controlling the world, but from mastering our response to it. As Epictetus wrote, some things are up to us, and some things are not. Understanding this distinction can transform how we navigate life's challenges. Let me share a story about Mia, a dedicated nurse who worked tirelessly during a particularly chaotic period in her hospital. Every day brought emergencies, demands, and frustrations beyond her ability to manage. Patients were impatient, systems failed, and colleagues often clashed under pressure. Despite her best efforts, nothing seemed to improve. Mia began to feel overwhelmed, questioning her worth and doubting her ability to make a difference. One evening, as she sat alone after a particularly difficult shift, she picked up a copy of Marcus Aurelius's Meditations. She read, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." These words resonated deeply. For the first time, Mia saw the weight she carried not as an inevitability, but as a choice. She couldn't change the behavior of others or the flaws in the system, but she could change how she approached her work. The next day, Mia began practicing what the Stoics call the dichotomy of control. She focused on what she could influence: her attitude, her empathy toward patients, and her efforts to support her team. Gradually, the chaos around her lost its grip on her emotions. She became a source of calm and strength for those she served, and in doing so, rediscovered her purpose and resilience. The freedom of letting go. What would your life look like if you released the need to control the uncontrollable? Imagine a sailor caught in a storm at sea. He cannot stop the winds or calm the waves, but he can adjust his sails and steer his course with care. The sailor's wisdom lies in understanding what is within his power and surrendering the rest to the forces beyond him. This principle applies to every aspect of life. Perhaps you faced a situation where no amount of effort could sway the outcome: an unreciprocated relationship, a career setback, or a misunderstanding with a loved one. Holding on to the illusion of control in these moments only deepens our frustration and pain. But when we choose to let go, we open the door to peace. Practical steps to let go. Step 1. Identify what is within your control. Take a moment to reflect on a current challenge in your life. Divide the elements into 2 categories: what you can influence and what lies beyond your power. Focus your energy on the former and consciously release the latter. As Epictetus reminds us, freedom is the ability to decide what we will make of the things that happen to us. Step 2. Shift your perspective. Often we cling to control because we fear uncertainty. But uncertainty is a natural part of life. Instead of resisting it, embrace it as an opportunity for growth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Love the hand that fate deals you, for what could be more fitting?" This mindset allows you to see challenges not as barriers, but as paths toward deeper wisdom. Step 3. Practice detachment. Detachment doesn't mean apathy, it means caring without clinging. For example, if you're working on a project, give it your best effort without fixating on the result. By detaching from the outcome, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and disappointment. As Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." Step 4. Create a letting go ritual. When you find yourself fixating on something outside your control, develop a ritual to release it. Write your worries on a piece of paper and tear it up. Take a deep breath and visualize yourself letting go of the burden. These small acts reinforce your commitment to focus on what truly matters. The Stoics remind us that letting go is not a sign of weakness, but of wisdom. When we release the uncontrollable, we strengthen our resilience. We learn to endure life's challenges with grace, knowing that our worth is not defined by the outcomes we cannot change, but by the effort we bring to what we can. Mia's story is a powerful example of this. By focusing on her attitude and actions, she became a force of good in an environment she couldn't control. Like Mia, we too can find freedom and purpose by embracing this Stoic principle. As you navigate life's uncertainties, remember the wisdom of the Stoics. You are not meant to control the winds, but to adjust your sails. You are not meant to fight against the tide, but to steer with intention. By letting go of what lies beyond your reach, you reclaim the strength to focus on what truly matters: your character, your actions, and your peace. This is the path to wisdom. This is the path to freedom. 5. Cultivate the art of saying no. In life, one of the most difficult yet necessary skills to master is the ability to say no. The Stoics, in their pursuit of wisdom and virtue, understood this well. They believed that clarity of purpose requires us to guard our time and energy. As Seneca wrote, "You act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire." To say yes to what truly matters, you must have the courage to say no to what does not. Let me tell you about Liam, a young professional with immense talent and ambition. Liam was a natural leader, the kind of person everyone turned to for advice and support. But this strength became his greatest weakness. Over time, he found himself overwhelmed, agreeing to every project, every request, every favor. He wanted to help, to please, to avoid disappointing anyone. Yet, as the demands piled up, he felt drained and unfulfilled. One day, during a rare moment of reflection, Liam stumbled upon these words from Epictetus: "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." He realized that his inability to say no was not kindness, but a lack of self-awareness. he was sacrificing his well-being and purpose for the approval of others. Inspired by this revelation, Liam began practicing the art of saying no. Though difficult at first, it became a transformative act of self-respect and clarity. He learned to prioritize his values, and in doing so, found peace and fulfillment. Why saying no is essential. The power of no lies in its ability to define our boundaries. When you say yes to everything, you dilute your energy, time, and focus. Like a river spreading too thin, you lose the force needed to drive meaningful change. Saying no is not an act of rejection. It is an affirmation of your priorities. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. This wisdom calls us to examine our choices and align them with our deeper purpose. Every yes should be a deliberate commitment, not an automatic response born of fear or guilt. How to master the art of saying no. Step 1. Understand your values. Before you can say no, you must know what you are saying yes to. Reflect on your core values and goals. What truly matters to you? What brings meaning to your life? Write these down and use them as a compass when faced with decisions. When you know your why, saying no becomes easier. Step 2. Pause before responding. In the moment, it can be tempting to agree out of politeness or pressure. Train yourself to pause. Say, "Let me think about it," before giving an answer. This small act of mindfulness allows you to assess whether the request aligns with your priorities. Step 3. Be honest and kind. Saying no doesn't require harshness. Be clear yet compassionate. For example, if a colleague asks for help, but you're overwhelmed, say, "I appreciate you thinking of me, but I'm unable to commit fully to this right now." Kindness ensures your no is respected, not resented. Step 4. Reclaim your time. Time is your most precious resource. Once spent, it can never be regained. By saying no to distractions and unnecessary obligations, you create space for what truly matters: your growth, relationships, and purpose. Saying no often means risking disappointment or disapproval. This can feel uncomfortable, especially if you value harmony in your relationships. But remember, your worth is not measured by how many people you please. As Seneca wisely noted, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. When you crave approval, you become enslaved to others' expectations. True freedom lies in living authentically, even when it means disappointing someone. As you navigate this journey, remember that every no is an opportunity to say yes to something greater. It is a declaration of your values, a commitment to your purpose, and a step toward living a life of wisdom and integrity. In mastering this art, you align not only with the teachings of the Stoics, but with the highest version of yourself. 6. Observe more, judge less. One of the greatest insights of Stoic philosophy is the power of observation. The wise understand that much of what we perceive is clouded by our judgments, snap reactions shaped by bias, fear, or pride. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you always own the option of having no opinion. There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you cannot control. This teaches us to pause, to observe with clarity, and to refrain from unnecessary judgment. Let me share a story about Evelyn, a school principal known for her calm demeanor and fairness. One day, a heated argument broke out between two teachers, each accusing the other of negligence. Both rushed to Evelyn's office, each demanding immediate action. But instead of reacting hastily, Evelyn listened patiently. She observed their tones, their body language, and the underlying emotions driving their words. Instead of siding with one or the other, she asked thoughtful questions, uncovering miscommunications and unmet expectations at the heart of the conflict. By choosing to observe before judging, Evelyn resolved the issue without alienating either teacher, earning their respect and trust. This is the wisdom of observation. Instead of reacting impulsively, you step back, allowing space for clarity to emerge. By observing more and judging less, you gain deeper insights into situations and people, fostering understanding and harmony. The burden of snap judgments. Snap judgments are a heavy burden. They distort reality, fuel conflict, and often lead to regret. How often have we assumed the worst of someone, only to later realize we misunderstood their intentions? Seneca wisely warns, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. When we rush to judge, we create suffering for ourselves and others. Imagine a neighbor who appears cold and distant. It's easy to label them as unfriendly, But what if instead you chose to observe? Perhaps their silence masks a personal struggle or a deep sense of shyness. By withholding judgment, you open the door to compassion and connection. How to practice observing without judging. Step 1. Pause before reacting. When faced with a challenging situation or person, take a moment to pause. In that brief stillness, remind yourself that your initial reaction may not reflect the full truth. Marcus Aurelius encourages us, "If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth." This openness begins with observation. Step 2. Focus on actions, not intentions. It is natural to assume we understand someone's motives, but often we project our own fears or biases onto others. Instead of interpreting why someone acted a certain way, focus on the action itself. What did they do? How did it affect the situation? This shift in focus allows for clearer thinking and better communication. Step 3. Ask questions, seek context. Judgment thrives in the absence of understanding. When faced with ambiguity, ask questions to uncover context. For instance, if a colleague misses a deadline, instead of assuming laziness, ask what challenges they faced. As Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Listening leads to greater insight. Step 4. Reflect daily. At the end of each day, take a few moments to reflect. What judgments did I make today? Were they fair? Were they necessary? Writing these reflections down can help you identify patterns and cultivate greater self-awareness over time. Restraint in judgment is a form of wisdom. It requires humility, the acknowledgement that you may not see the full picture, and patience, the willingness to wait for understanding to unfold. Marcus Aurelius captured this beautifully when he wrote, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth." The next time you find yourself tempted to judge, pause and remind yourself of these words. Choose instead to observe. Let your mind be like a still pond, reflecting the world as it is, not as you assume it to be. When you practice observation, you give yourself and others a profound gift, understanding. You free yourself from the turmoil of misplaced assumptions and create space for empathy, growth, and connection. This does not mean accepting harmful behavior or ignoring injustice, but approaching life with a calm, discerning mind. Take a moment now to reflect. Who or what have I judged recently? Could I have observed more and judged less? As you consider this, know that every effort to cultivate this practice brings you closer to the wisdom the Stoics cherished, a life of clarity, harmony, and grace. In observing more and judging less, you align yourself with the highest principles of Stoic philosophy. You become not only a wiser individual, but a source of peace and understanding in a world often quick to condemn. This is the path of the Stoic, steady, thoughtful, and deeply compassionate. 7. Embrace patience as power. Patience is not passive, it is a powerful force. The Stoics viewed patience as an essential virtue, one that tempers our impulses and strengthens our resolve. Seneca once wrote, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." In a world that often demands instant gratification, patience is a rare and transformative strength. Consider the story of Rachel, a young scientist working tirelessly on a groundbreaking medical study. For years, her experiments failed to yield the results she hoped for. Her colleagues moved on to more promising projects, doubting her persistence. Yet Rachel believed in her vision. She reminded herself daily of Marcus Aurelius's words, "No great thing is created suddenly." She learned to endure setbacks, adapting her approach with each failure. After nearly a decade of unwavering patience, her breakthrough came, a treatment that saved countless lives. Rachel's story is a testament to the power of patience, not as passivity, but as steady, determined effort. The role of patience in wisdom. Patience allows us to see beyond the moment. It teaches us to wait for clarity instead of rushing into decisions clouded by emotion. Imagine a hunter in the forest. To act too quickly risks scaring the prey away, but waiting too long may cost the opportunity. The wise hunter balances vigilance with patience, knowing when to wait and when to act. Similarly in life, patience helps us discern the right time to move forward. The Stoics understood that impatience often stems from a desire to control what is uncontrollable. Epictetus advised, "Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, and you will go on well." Patience, therefore, is rooted in acceptance, accepting the natural flow of events and trusting the process. How to cultivate patience? Step 1. Practice delayed gratification. Start small. When you feel the urge to indulge in an immediate desire, checking your phone during work, buying something unnecessary, pause. Train yourself to wait, even if only for a few moments. This builds discipline, reinforcing your ability to endure discomfort for long-term gain. Step 2. Reframe waiting as growth. Instead of viewing waiting as wasted time, see it as an opportunity to prepare. While Rachel's experiments failed, she used that time to deepen her knowledge and refine her methods. When you face delays or obstacles, ask yourself, what can I learn or improve during this time? Step 3. Breathe through impatience. Impatience often manifests as tension in the body and mind. When you feel it rising, pause and take 3 deep breaths. This simple act grounds you, creating space between impulse and reaction. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. Step 4. Set long-term goals. Patience becomes easier when anchored to a meaningful vision. Define your goals and remind yourself that true achievement takes time. Each small step forward is a victory, even if the final destination feels distant. The Stoics remind us that patience is not about waiting idly, but enduring with purpose. Seneca said, "He suffers more than necessary, who suffers before it is necessary." When we learn to wait with intention, we free ourselves from the burden of unnecessary suffering. Ask yourself, where am I rushing in life? What could I achieve if I practiced more patience? Perhaps it's a career goal, a strained relationship, or a personal habit you're struggling to change. Whatever it is, remember that lasting growth takes time. Think of patience as a seed you plant. At first, there's little to show for your effort, just soil and sunlight. But with consistent care, roots take hold, and eventually, a strong tree emerges. Your patience is that tree's foundation, steadying it against life's storms. When you embrace patience, you gain more than just results. You gain resilience, clarity, and a deeper appreciation for the journey. Like Rachel, your persistence will lead to breakthroughs that once felt impossible. Like James, your relationships will flourish, built on understanding and grace. Patience is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is the quiet power that allows you to endure, to grow, and to thrive. By cultivating this virtue, you align yourself with the Stoic ideals of strength, clarity, and purpose. So take a deep breath, trust the process, and remember, the greatest achievements in life are not rushed, they are patiently earned. 8. The strength of resilience. Resilience is the quiet strength that allows us to rise again after we fall. It is not the absence of hardship, but the ability to face it with grace and determination. The Stoics revered resilience as a core virtue, understanding that life's trials are inevitable, but not insurmountable. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." These words remind us that every obstacle carries the seed of growth, waiting for us to nurture it. Let me share the story of Alex, a young entrepreneur who dreamed of launching a revolutionary app. His initial excitement was soon met with relentless challenges: technical glitches, financial struggles, and a failed product launch. Friends and family urged him to give up, but Alex turned to the teachings of Epictetus for guidance. Difficulties are things that show a person what they are. Rather than seeing these setbacks as failures, Alex reframed them as lessons. He analyzed what went wrong, sought advice from mentors, and adjusted his approach. Over time, his persistence paid off. The second version of his app became a success, not because the challenges disappeared, but because Alex grew stronger through them. His resilience turned obstacles into stepping stones, proving that the Stoic perspective on resilience. The Stoics teach us that resilience is not about suppressing pain or pretending to be unaffected. It is about acknowledging hardship, learning from it, and moving forward with wisdom. Life will test us in ways we cannot predict. But as Seneca wrote, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Resilience is born in the moments when giving up feels easiest but enduring feels right. It is the choice to face discomfort, to endure uncertainty, and to trust that growth lies on the other side. How to build resilience? Step 1. Accept adversity as part of life. Resilience begins with acceptance. When we resist hardship, we magnify our suffering. Instead, embrace the Stoic mindset. Amor fati, love your fate, whatever it may bring. This doesn't mean enjoying pain, but finding meaning in it. Ask yourself, what can this teach me? How can I grow from this experience? Step 2. Focus on what you can control. Setbacks often leave us feeling powerless, but the Stoics remind us that we always have control over our attitude and actions. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Channel your energy into constructive steps, no matter how small, rather than dwelling on what's beyond your influence. Step 3. Cultivate a support network. Resilience is not a solitary endeavor. Surround yourself with people who uplift and encourage you. Share your struggles and lean on those you trust. Even the Stoics, known for their self-reliance, valued community and connection. Step 4. Practice self-compassion. Resilience is not about being unbreakable. It's about bouncing back. Be kind to yourself during difficult times. Remember, progress is not linear. Celebrate small victories and forgive yourself for setbacks. Resilience doesn't just help us endure hardship, it transforms us. Each challenge we overcome strengthens our character and deepens our wisdom. Consider the process of forging steel. It is heated, hammered, and tempered until it becomes unyielding. So too are we shaped by life's trials, emerging stronger and more refined. Think of Bella, a teacher who faced burnout after years of overwork. She felt defeated, doubting her ability to continue in a career she once loved. But instead of walking away, she took time to reflect and rebuild. She simplified her workload, sought mentorship, and focused on her passion for helping students. Through resilience, Bella rediscovered her purpose and became a more impactful educator. The Stoics teach us that life is not a smooth journey, but a series of waves, each one testing our balance. Resilience is the skill that allows us to ride these waves without being overwhelmed. It is the understanding that hardship is not the end, but a passage to greater strength and clarity. In building resilience, you align yourself with the wisdom of the Stoics. You learn to face life's trials not with fear, but with confidence, knowing that every challenge is an opportunity to grow. Let this be your guiding truth. Obstacles are not barriers, they are stepping stones. Rise to meet them and discover the strength that lies within you. As we conclude this journey through Stoic philosophy, remember that these timeless lessons are not just for reflection, but for practice. To live wisely is not about knowing what is right. It is about doing what is right, every day, in every moment. The lessons we've explored, from embracing patience and resilience to letting go of what we cannot control, are tools you can apply in your daily life. Take a moment each day to practice these virtues. Start small. Reflect on your actions and thoughts and ask yourself, am I living in alignment with the wisdom I've learned? When faced with challenges, remember to pause and observe, instead of reacting impulsively. Cultivate patience. Embrace setbacks as opportunities, and always act in the present, knowing that the power to change lies within you. These principles will not change your life overnight, but with consistent practice, you will grow stronger, wiser, and more centered. Wisdom is not a gift, it is a skill, cultivated through practice and dedication. If this video has inspired you, I encourage you to like it and subscribe to Stoic Narratives Official for more insights on how to live a life of virtue, purpose, and meaning. Share your own experiences and reflections in the comments below. How have these Stoic lessons shaped your daily life? Let's continue to learn and grow together, supporting each other on the path to wisdom. Thank you for joining me, and may peace and clarity guide your journey.